This is Solidarity News on Radio Labour.
The American unionist and folk singer Harry Stamper died this month. His song, "We Just Come to Work Here, We Don't Come to Die," became a classic, an anthem for health and safety activists everywhere.
I've been working here for 15 years and I've seen some changes come. Seen some Okies called Californians, I've seen some poets called bums. I've seen some people working for safety, there must be a reason why. Maybe we just come to work here.
You know, I didn't make it to college, and I moved to Ashland and stayed there for a couple of years, but then decided I couldn't work there. I quit, I went home. And I said, no, I'm going to go, I'm going to go back to San Francisco and I'm going to get a union job.
Our democracy is rooted in unions. It isn't the other way around. Being a union member wasn't just paying your dues and going to a meeting for Harry. It was a dedication. It was a calling.
Better stand by your union.
So when OSHA passed in 1972, that initiated a new era of safety consciousness on the waterfront, because before that we had to stop work, have mini strikes to enforce safety. The ships were old, they were varied, so one would be in good condition, the next one would be in deplorable condition. So Harry wrote a wonderful song apropos of that whole subject.
Come to work here. We don't come to die.
There was always something to be learned with his music. He thought that if you could get somebody to laugh at something, then they'd kind of have their minds opened up and never really be able to look at it quite the same way again.
Highway, we got trees along the road. We got trees coming through the sidewalk. We got trees everywhere you go. But you gotta have room for diversification, new jobs and industries. As soon as we get rid of all these trees.
Harry's music to me is music in context. He wrote songs about the life he lived, and he wrote songs of meaning and usefulness to working people.
One of the longshoremen here said, you know, you sing about everything else, you know, why don't you write Harry Bridges a song? And so I did.
Harry helped to build the bridges that the workers marched across in a time when it was dangerous to agitate the boss. When the workers...
So from his own experience, while the music is totally grounded, he created something bigger.
The ILWU. So here's to you, Harry, may your name fall.
His idea of the folk process was that you created a song, you gave it to whoever, and if they could use it, if they could change it, great. Ann Feeney recorded "We Just Come to Work Here." Oh, she did a real rock and roll version, and he thought that was neat.
We don't come to die.
Played with some great musicians back east. Pete Seeger knew him and played with him.
Pete was his first hero for folk music. He even wrote a song about Pete Seeger.
No, I never can repay the man who taught me to sing.
Harry Stamper, his music has influenced the way I think about things. The song "Anymore" was really one of the first songs of Harry's that I heard.
I can't sing about the torment of a love that's left behind when our leaders can't agree on the future of our time.
I've been singing songs about peace and about injustice for a long time. It's a simple matter, just stand up and tell them no, and I think that was a great message.
I grew up with Hank Williams and the music of my dad.
He had an instant rapport with an audience. He was so at ease. It was like people were his swimming pool of life.
Some people help, some get in the
missed by many, many friends, and what a wonderful outpouring at his memorial. What a sweet day, huh? That's the proof in the pudding there, who he was.
What I remember so well was just this incredibly fun person who was so committed on a series of different issues. He could do music, he could be expressive, and he also would just make sure you got that serious point. I will always love him for that.
It's not how I expected to spend my life. I'm a little bit like the Plains Indians, you know, they always put the door of their teepees to the east, and they would get up in the morning and then they would sit there at, in the rising sun and thank the Creator for everything. I get up in the morning and I have a portrait of Harry Bridges, and I sit there and I do essentially the same thing.
Now you and I know the things that aren't code.
He'll make a lasting contribution. You know, they'll be singing his songs for many a moon.
Harry, just by being here in this community, has had an impact.
We're saying we just come to work here.
Listen to the words. The words are important. The words have meaning.
Come to work here, mister. We don't come down.
But they can't take away your birthday. All they really want to do is to cut your pay. The great thing about the ILWU is you don't have to kiss what you don't want to. Boatman, why didn't you run? Boatman, why didn't you run? Boatman, why didn't you run back to the ship when your break was done? So I found I had a few things to do. I don't imagine they mean a whole lot to you. But when we've taken our final ride, we'll both go to heaven and let her decide. Boatman, why didn't you run? Boatman, why didn't you run? Boatman, why didn't you run back to the ship when your break was done?